In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Welcome to another session of Lessons from My Mother. We are on lesson number 11. Surprise, surprise. Long way to go, but I'm glad I am able to do this every week. So far we've covered a lot of base lessons, and last week also we were talking about how to make friends, who to make friends with, and so forth. The lesson today is something that my mother has said her whole life. Well, my whole life, as much as I've known her. She probably learned it from her father, who learned it from his, and so forth. Do not trust the overly insistent. Do not trust the pushy. Do not trust somebody who's trying to force something on you. The crux of the matter is to doubt people's intentions, rather than taking everything at face value. That is the crux of it. But when speaking to a child, that's not what you say, because the child doesn't know what intentions are, or what clandestine or obscure methods of thought are. So you say to the child, if someone tries to give you a sweet, or if someone tries to make you eat something, don't eat it. Now, some people might say, no, we should train the child to be able to tell what to do and what not to do. At a young age of 5 or 6, I wouldn't take that risk. Maybe around teenage years. But even in teenage years, do you know how so many people start smoking in their teenage years? It happens like this. Come on, try some. Or just try one. Or you'll like it. Or just try one. Just one. Just one swig. Just one swig. Oh, you'll like it. And the child goes, after a while, all his friends are smoking. He's like, okay, just one. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, I'll try yours too. Okay, I'll try yours too. Okay, I'll try yours too. And sooner than you think, they're smoking and they're addicted to drugs and they're in rehab centers and they've thrown their life away for countless reasons. I'm not 100% against people smoking, because people smoke. I am against people being forced into smoking. I am against people being forced into doing anything. And I am against people being peer pressured and feeling that they need to fit in without doubting somebody's intentions. Now, the person who insists that you smoke, I'm not saying that they have nefarious intentions. I'm not saying they're saying, oh, I'll get this person to start smoking and throw their life away. But their intention is, hey, I'm smoking and I'm relaxing. I want everyone around me to be a certain way. It kind of encroaches on the other person's complete freedom. So I've had friends who tried to do this my whole life. You can ask them even today. It never worked. It never worked. You can't force me to do squat. If I want to do it, I'll do it without you even telling me to do it. But if I don't want to do it, you can't make me do it. And this is because of this training that my mom had given us. She would say that if somebody's at school and they're trying to feed you a sweet, at that time in the mid-90s, we used to have these small sweets of Pepsi and Fanta and so forth, and they would come and we'd eat them. And my mom would say, if another student comes to you and says, eat this, and you say, no, and he said, no, eat it. No, eat it. No, I want you to eat it. I won't give up until you eat it. Don't take it. Run away, inform a teacher, do not take it. It could be nothing, but it could be something. It could be something like this. A man is standing at the gate, or a woman, a person is standing at the gate, and they say to this child, here's 5 rupees. At that time, 5 rupees was a big thing. All right, let's go British. Here's £5. Take these £5 and give this toffee to that boy, and then bring that boy here. If I had taken that toffee or that sweet, it might have had some chloroform or some morphine or something that knocks me out, and the older person picks me up, throws me in their van, and kidnaps me. calls my parents, asks for a ransom, breaks my body, breaks my limbs into smaller parts, and sells them. Sells me in God knows the sex market or the smuggling market or God knows what market. All because I didn't doubt that other child forcing a sweet onto me. All because of that. So in the in the balance of trust versus doubt, particularly when it comes to children, always err on the side of doubt. Cynicism is protective. Trust is inspiring, trust is hopeful, trust is empowering. But when it is a child, when there is great power asymmetry, then I would caution people against trusting blindly. And that's exactly what my mum told me. So much so that I still hold it close to me and I still modulate myself when I'm dealing with other people because I'm a assertive personality. I'm an ENTJ. I'm an Aries with a Capricorn uh, ascendant and moon. I'm quite assertive. But I try my best to keep my insistent, pushy, demanding nature in check and give respect to the other person, to their wants and their likes. Because A, you shouldn't impose your will onto others, but we all have a tendency towards tyranny. But the other thing is, I want to build relationships of trust. And if I keep pushing something, the other person might say, why is this person pushing this? And it also makes me think, why am I pushing this on the other person? Why am I saying you should do this, you should do that? Why am I doing it? Saying it once is enough. Saying it twice is enough. Saying it multiple times, oh, you should do this, you should do this, you should. No, it doesn't make sense. Share your opinion once or twice and then just say, cool, it doesn't affect my life. You do whatever you want to do. That's what my mother taught me. 9 years ago in Pakistan, we were selling my father's and my grandfather's and then my father's house. Me and my eldest brother were there, and we were speaking to multiple real estate agents and buyers and investors and builders. And me being an architect, I was always in those meetings. And me and my brother and I would always negotiate price, and we were doing a fine job. In a previous office that I used to work in Pakistan, I ended up making friends with a lot of draftsmen. Now, for those of you who don't know what a draftsman is a non-architect. They don't have an architectural degree. And this is in Pakistan. Traditionally, draftsmen were architects. They're not architects, but they are proficient in software or drawing or proportions. And you can, as an architect, you can draw a sketch and tell them to go make the final drawings, the specification drawings for them, the construction drawings, and they do that work. But they end up learning so much from the architect that many of them end up setting up their own offices in the evening, where they design houses for cheap, and they make a lot of money. And there's no way to shut them down. Legally, there's no way the Architects Association can do anything to them. But they end up doing that, and everybody knows, and they turn a blind eye. But that's a digression. One of the draftsmen from one of the offices I used to work in, I ended up befriending all of them. And one of them, when I told him, I'm trying to get my house sold, for the next month and a half, he would call me about it. He would say, so what happened? I'll tell you, realtor, you here. It's slowing down. Internet. What is going on? I think I should keep speaking, but it says that my mic isn't working. Result of living in Montreal, I guess, or it being a rain-filled time. Yeah, oops. Okay. Well, fix it. If my team is having a connection issue, it's your job to fix it. I think we're fine now. Anyway, this draftsman used to call me about that house all the time. Hey, what's happening with that house? I'll suggest to buy it to you. I'll do this. I'll do that. And I'd be very encouraged. I was like, wow, he's such a good friend. He's so supportive. And he'd take me to places, and I would go meet them, and he took me to another place. And then, as I watched it, more and more people starting being attached. So he took me to another realtor, and that realtor was quite like he was trying to play a power game unnecessarily because I was willing to sell the house. He was trying to play a power game, like how much do you think we charge, and you know those type of people. And then that realtor, and then this draftsman took me to another realtor with my brother, and we sat with that person, and that person was shady from the get go. You know, when people say, "I'm being honest, trust me on my mother's life," when people say this multiple times, you start thinking, why is this person saying it all the time? He's trying to convince me that he's telling the truth rather than simply telling the truth. So that realtor would say something like, in Urdu, he would say, "Dekhiye, kible ki taraf mera muh hai, main jhoot nahi bolta hai," which means I'm facing the Kaaba, I don't lie. And this is an Indian, but maybe also South Asian gesture for trust me, I promise to God, or on my mother's life, and so forth. And he kept saying it. And after we kept nodding in the meeting, we said, okay, fine. And when we came out, I said to my brother, what did you think of him? And my brother said, I don't trust anybody who pushes the narrative that they are telling the truth. And I said, yeah, I have the same feeling. And then when that draftsman called me after that again and again, I stopped answering his call, and I would just change the topic. And I said, yeah, no, we have buyers. Oh, you have buyers? How much are they charging? Oh, we don't know yet, but we're going to ask them. And I would give him inflated amounts of money. So instead of saying £800,000, I'd say, oh, we've charged $1 million, and so forth, just to throw him off my scent. We got a few really good buyers. We ended up selecting one. We sold the house. All of that was well. And when the house was being sold, he tried to give me another idea. That idea was a pretty good idea, but he tried to give me another idea and said, hey, I can help you with it. And I said, no, it's fine. It's a good idea, but no, we've already sold. Once the house was sold, I was having tea with him once, and he said, man, you should have taken my help. I would have gotten your house sold for £1 million. And I said, no, it's fine. It's sold for a good price. But why were you insisting so much for me to meet this, for me to meet that? And he just started laughing. He's just like, ha, ha, ha. Because I was going to get a percentage too. And I was like, you didn't tell me that. He's like, yeah, I mean, I was just trying to help, but obviously I was going to get a percentage from the sale. So if I connected you to a realtor, I told him, okay, you're going to get, let's say 2%. Out of those 2%, you need to give me X amount of money. And when we connected you to the third person, I always had a cut. And I was like, but you said you were being friendly. He said, I was being friendly. I didn't have to connect you to anyone, but I always had a cut. And I thank God for my mother's training to me and my brothers, because both me and my brother were a bit reticent. Like, this guy's insisting and making us meet people, and we'd go and meet the people. But in our minds, we were like, why are they pushing it so much? Why are you pushing? Why are you so overly insistent? Why are you trying to make me follow your narrative? What's in it for you? Cynicism and doubt protect you from being taken by wolves, taken by sharks, taken by groups of people. Now, one person can be handled. If it was just one person, I could handle them physically, I mean. But when it starts becoming groups of people who come to you with an agenda, oh, we've seen this and we want you to do this, you look at them and wonder, oh, what? Oh, wow, interesting. Like many of you know, or whoever's watching knows this, I've given a TED talk in April, and thankfully I got that TED talk by my own hard work. I wrote to people, I pursued, I presented, I demoed, I did all of that. And based on that, I gave my first TED talk. I was very happy with it. I'm grateful to have the opportunity. And HEC Montreal and the TEDx team, I love all of you and thank you. And I love my parents for trusting me and empowering me to be able to do so. But even before that, I would be reached out by people in the US and the UK and even in Canada saying, "Oh, Ali, you have a great public profile. You're speaking more and more. We're seeing that you have a number of followers. Why don't you give a TED talk?" And I'd say, "I'd love to. I'd love to, absolutely." And then they try to reel me into this mentorship program where I'd end up paying between $2,000 and $8,000 easily. Sorry, £2,000 and $8,000, around that margin. And in that time, they'd encourage me to apply. They'd give me some tools to apply and give me some names, and that was it. So, with all due respect to all the coaches who say that they're going to help you get a TED talk, I know that it works, but the amount of money they charge, the amount of money is quite substantial. And I wasn't willing to pay that, but they would keep insisting. So I said, "Okay, I'll take a meeting with you." And I remember I took a meeting with a fellow, and he said to me, "Well, you have a great public profile. You speak really well. I've seen you speak here. I've seen you speak there, blah, blah, blah." And within the first minute, I said to him, "Let me stop you right there. All I'm concerned with is how much you're going to charge me. You don't need to sell me on the process. I know the process. If I like it, if I already like you, just tell me the amount. If the amount is palatable to me, I'll say yes right now. You don't have to waste the next 50, 60 minutes trying to convince me. I am convinced. The only thing I would question you on is the money." He said, "No, oh no, we'll talk about that." And he tried to pivot. And when he pivoted, I knew then and there that the money was going to be an amount for which he needs to make a 50-minute sales pitch. So he sold it to me for 50 minutes. We've gotten this person, that person, this person, that person, blah, blah, blah. He kept doing all of that. And then in the end, he said, "Oh, we charge $8,800. I said, "Yeah, okay, let me think about it. That's slightly pricier than I thought. Let me think about it. Oh, yeah, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this. Oh, you could do this." And he tried to find solutions. And I said, "Yeah, okay." And at that very time, I was in the selection process for my first TEDx talk. So then that person, after I got my talk and I gave my talk, this person called me and he said, "Hey, Ali, yeah, hey, I can't remember his name. I'm calling from blah, blah, blah. Have you decided to this?" And I said, "Yeah, no, the price was just a bit too much. You know, Ali, you have to take these risks and you have to do this and you have to do that." And he was still trying to insist because he had a commission. And I said to him, "Yeah, funny thing you say that. I just gave my first TED talk last week in Montreal at a major institution. I just gave it last week. And it was fantastic." And there was silence on his end. Silence. And then he went, "Oh, wow, congratulations. Did you go through a coach or yourself?" I said, No, myself. I built a network. I worked hard. I pitched. I got selected and I went through. "Oh, wow, well done. Maybe we should talk." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But now I'm not going to be paying that amount of money if I'm getting any consulting or any conversation." And he said, "Yeah, no, yeah, wow. No, I was just saying we can talk." And he suddenly started to pivot, and I saw him for who he was. He was a well-meaning, well-intentioned person, but at the end of the day, he's still in sales. He still had the ulterior motive of locking in a client who pays $8,800, from which he gets a commission. So my cynicism paid dividends because I did not trust the overly insistent. And that is the lesson that my mom has taught me, and I still carry it today. If somebody is pushing you to do something, do not do it. If you pay them to, for example, if it says gym trainer, fair enough. Even if it's a loved one, if they are overly insistent, I would doubt their intentions. I would sincerely doubt their intentions. And if it's a loved one, I would at least question them. If it isn't a loved one, I would doubt them outright, and I wouldn't listen to somebody who's trying to force me to do something. 20 minutes gone, and I've just talked for too long. So thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful week ahead.